well, this is the body I'm destined to be with because I've just been this way for probably the last 20 years or so. And I am at the weight that I got pregnant with my 33-year-old son right now. So, I mean, that's how long this has been since I've been at this weight. So it's just, and when I get to my goal, I'm going to be at the weight I was when I got married. Finally, then when I went in at that same time in June, I told him, I said, I'm not on my blood pressure medicine anymore. And my blood pressure was like 100/70. So it was just like awesome.
Welcome back to the Becoming MindStrong podcast. My name is Rachel, and I'm the founder and CEO of MindStrong Fitness, where we have been helping menopausal women not just lose the weight, not just get healthy, but make this a totally sustainable lifestyle for almost a decade now. We've been in this world for a really long time. And today you're going to hear me dive deep with one of my favorite before and after pictures to shout from the rooftops. What I love about Deb's story is, yes, she lost an incredible 35 plus pounds. But more importantly is the inner health. What you're going to hear from Deb is that she had been on blood pressure meds for over a decade. And by the time she graduated, by the time she got her health in check, she was completely off of her meds. And if you do check out the show notes and see her before and after picture, what you're going to see is that after picture at this point is, I don't know, 6, 7 years old, because one of my favorite expressions in our world is if you know how to ride a bike, try to fall off that bike, right? When your brain is wired for a skill, it's really difficult to forget how to do that skill. And that's what Deb did. She mastered nutrition as a skill because that's how we teach it. So she has it for the rest of her life. So yes, down 35 pounds and counting is fun. Off blood pressure meds after a decade is incredible. Having a skill for life, it doesn't get better than that. Deb, just tell us a little bit about what I would label as old Deb versus new Deb. What was the Deb that came into Ignite, that found MindStrong? What was she feeling like versus this new Deb who's now quite a while in with us?
Well, old Deb was probably, well, this is the body I'm destined to be with because I've just been this way for probably the last 20 years or so. And I would joke with my friends, I'd say, well, I do Zumba so I can eat because that's totally how I felt sometimes because I just do that exercise so that I could be able to eat a little bit more and try to exercise when I could. But now I lift weights and I actually do my cardio when I can get that in, and just a really healthier version of myself, and I just feel good.
Amazing. So I know we talked a little bit about just the incredible transformation. I mean, your before and after pictures are jaw dropping. Anyone who knows you or sees you on a somewhat daily basis, it's a new person standing there. And a big part of that is, physically you have dropped 35 pounds, which is a good amount of weight. But can you talk a bit about what else has changed for you? Maybe the unexpected health changes, just other things in your life that transformed in addition to that weight loss?
Well, when I started this in October, initially it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this will be through the holidays. I'm going to be doing this through the holidays, and and everything worked out really, really well through the holidays, getting on track with my macros and everything. So in December, I went for my regular checkup, and by that time I had lost about 10 pounds, and they wanted to do my yearly blood work, and I was like, okay. So they checked my cholesterol at that time, and I was 208, excuse me, which for me was really pretty good because normally I would run in the 220s, not higher than 230 ever. But I have the hereditary factor on both sides, so um, they just say, well, you need to do a better job of watching what you eat, and I'm like, okay, okay, okay. Well, then June comes around and it's time for me to go back in to get a prescription refilled. And they say, well, we're going to check your blood work again. And I said, oh, okay, perfect, whatever. And I was so shocked when my cholesterol came back at 178. I was just thrilled. I was texting my coach and my buddy and just going crazy, at that results because that was just wonderful for me.
Real quickly, before we keep going in this episode, we are talking a lot about metabolisms in menopause in today's episode. So I want to offer you a chance to deepen your knowledge. If you haven't yet checked out my free workshop, How to Fire Up Your Metabolism in Menopause and Beyond, it is one of my go-to favorite pieces of content that I have out here in the interwebs. You can use the link in the show notes below or go to mindstrongfitness.com and you'll get a cute little pop-up that'll get you straight into the workshop. Now, let's get back to the show.
And then besides that, I've been on blood pressure medicine probably for the last 8 to 10 years. I don't really know. Again, hereditary factor on both sides. So I noticed that I was starting to be a little lightheaded, and I was probably around 25 pounds then, weight loss. So I started checking my blood pressure more often and noticing that it was starting to get a little bit lower than maybe we wanted it to be. So I started weaning, being a nurse, I started weaning myself off of it, started breaking it in half. And finally, then when I went in at that same time in June, I told him, I said, I'm not on my blood pressure medicine anymore. And my blood pressure was like 100/70. So it was just like awesome. So I also got off my blood pressure medicine.
Wow.
So.
That is amazing. And that's, weight loss is important. Of course, we want to be at a healthy weight. We want to look good. We want to feel good. We want to be healthy. But that is the stuff that truly makes us healthy. That's the internal stuff that can be harder to measure on a daily basis, but the changes are there and they're happening. And you're such living proof of that. So one more question for you. What
Sure.
made this journey different? Right? Most people coming into Ignite, this is not their first attempt at dieting. We always say we're not here to teach a diet, we're here to teach a lifestyle change. But what felt different for you this time around tracking macros inside of Ignite?
What made it different was I could eat regular food I wanted to eat. I just had to track whatever it was I was going to eat. Um, I love Twizzlers. That's like my go-to. If I have an emotional day, I'm a Twizzler person. And it got to where I was so, I guess, fulfilled with the food I was eating. I wasn't even wanting the Twizzlers that much. I would eat them because I needed carbs that night, and that was my go-to, but it was just life-changing, the ability to eat regular food and and feel good about that. Feel good about that I could eat regular food. It was just I don't know. I've joked with my coach and say I feel like I'm still in a dream and I'm going to wake up and it's going to be back on again or something. So anyway, yeah.
I love
So
that. I love it. Yeah. And it's one of those feelings when you learn this, it's where has this been my whole life, right?
oh, exactly, exactly. I wish I would have known this 20 plus years ago easily. But I was thinking this morning, I am at the weight that I got pregnant with my 33-year-old son right now. So I mean that's how long this has been since I've been at this weight. So it's just and when I get to my goal, I'm going to be at the weight I was when I got married. So yeah,
That's amazing. Talk about taking your
yeah,
life back, taking control back. That is
yeah,
beyond inspiring. Awesome. Thank you so
it
much for
is.
sharing your story with us. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your journey, your experience, something that might inspire others thinking about starting the journey?
Well, what I would say to people is you have to do it for your future self. It's and your future generations of your family. And you just have to invest in you. You have to invest in you and look at it that way, that you're worth it.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much.